right, everybody, this is Kyle. We're just kind of waiting for people to log into Zoom, and we'll get started here in a bit. Okay, we are trying to test the audio here. Can you guys hear me? This is Kyle. Okay, great. Okay, looks like we have 16 people on right now, so thank you guys for joining our third webinar, and we're recording the session, and Chelsea, our marketing director, will get that out to you guys with a link that you could send to other people as well. And I'm Kyle. I've got Brett with me.
Hi, guys.
And we do have everyone muted, but feel free to ask a question or comment in the chat window that Zoom has provided, and we'll try to answer that if possible. So I just put a message on the chat window. Maybe you guys can see that. But yeah, feel free to chat there if you have a question, etc. So we're going to do this for an hour, and thank you guys for being ParaPlan users. And we're planning to do a webinar every other month, so stay tuned for those. And if you're on the newsletter, you'll get updates on when those are coming. And we can help you out to get on the newsletter if you're not. And also, we'd welcome any topic ideas you guys have, so feel free to email Kyle or Brett or Tim or any of us to figure that out. Okay, so yes, great. Okay, thanks guys. Hi, Cindy. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some new features and also some little hidden gems that have been there for a while that I thought we would bring up. And I'm going to start by talking about documents and how you can now attach documents to your client records, to your drivers, vehicles, driver incidents or accidents, and also vehicle maintenance. And then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about mobile and some of the cool features there that you may not know about with the Next Stop widget itself and our Siri integration. So you can actually, use Siri to see your next stop coming up. So that might be useful for some of your drivers as well. So first, let's talk about our new document integration. So I hope you guys can see that I have gone to the clients module over here on the left. And as you know, we list your top 20 most frequent riders automatically. And then you can search for your clients by typing a portion of their first name and or a portion of their last name. So here I typed in Kev, and I got all three Kevins that are in the system. There's Kevin Chappell, Kevin Na, Kevin Streelman, and Kevin Tway. And let's go ahead and open up Kevin Na. Okay, so here is Kevin, and you may or may not know this, but there's a brand new documents button up here at the top. So when you push that, it opens up a new pane on the right side of the screen, and you can shrink it back by pushing the button again. So what we're doing is we're allowing you to upload documents of any file type, right, Brett? Mm-hmm. Any file type, and we store them on our hosted servers. And this is basically version 1, and I'm going to kind of show you how it works. But the intent here is based on everyone's request that you can attach different important documents to anything. So you could even attach a picture of Kevin, maybe a HIPAA waiver, his registration, any type of documents like that. So it's very simple. Once you push the documents button, the pane opens up, and notice he has nothing listed here. So the add new button is down here at the bottom right. You push add new, it opens up a basic Windows file explorer. And I've created a folder here of some things that I want to attach. So one of the things you need to note, depending on your version of Windows, right now it's only showing you the PDFs that I have. But if you have some images or other type of documents, you can upload those as well. And you just have to change the file type to, instead of just be looking for PDFs, look for everything. So here I've included some of the other images and things that I want to enclose. So first, I just want to add in this PDF, which is a client HIPAA authorization form. You just double click it or select it once and hit open. And there it is. So we timestamp it of when it was uploaded. And if you want to see the document, you can just click it and it will load up in whatever client file you have for that particular file type document. So that's a PDF. We're showing our PDFs in Chrome, but if you have Adobe, it would pop open in that, of course. Just kind of depends on what your default PDF reader is. And let's go ahead and add another one. So I want to add new again, and let's add basically another one. So this is a sample HIPAA release form. I just double clicked. And so you see how that works. They're time-stamped, etc. Now the kicker is, anyone that logs into your ParaPlan version, obviously that has access to clients can view these. But it's basically a one-way. So you're uploading it from your PC to our servers. And if you upload the same one again, it doesn't update it. So, that might be in a future release, but notice how if I go to add new again. Okay. So if I go and I look for a client sample HIPAA release form and I hit open, it will add it again. Okay. So I hope everybody noticed that. So you would have basically two versions of that, which are the same.
You can right click and delete the original.
So if you right click it, you can download it to your computer, view it, or delete it. Okay. So now let's talk about doing this with drivers as well. And then we'll go back and reload this to kind of show you. And then you can shrink it again as well by hitting documents. And then it's gone. And once you click it again, there they are. So let's go to drivers. And so I click all elements and go down to drivers. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up driver Daryl. So here's driver Daryl's driver window, and let's go to documents. And I've already uploaded a ParaPlan brochure for him. Let's go ahead and do, for instance, just a license photo. So again, change to all files. And we've now uploaded a sample driver's license. And let's see what else we have here. Another certification or any training type items you can also put in here as certifications. So let's look for, there it is. So now I've uploaded, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this brochure. So I've uploaded a couple images this time. So when you click these to view them, it will load up in your image viewer that's on your computer. Okay, and there's Daryl right there. So, but you get the point. Okay, so that's just a sample Kansas driver's license. Same thing with some sort of CDL certification you can also upload. Okay. All right, so that's for drivers. Let's go ahead and go back to loading up Kevin Na again, just to kind of show you that it's still there. Okay, let's go back to clients. And let's load up Kevin again, just to show you that they're still there. And then documents. And there are those two files that I uploaded. Okay. Another quick tool is if you don't want to go to all elements and scroll and you want vehicles, you can just type in vehicles in the search bar at the bottom of the sidebar and hit enter. And that'll load up your vehicles. So let's go ahead and look at vehicle number 298. Kind of move it to the middle. Let's attach a couple of documents here. So I've added a picture of the vehicle. Get that loaded up. There's the picture. I've got vehicle registration. And let's see, what else do I have? Title. So here's the title. Good. And you can view these as well. So here's a picture of the vehicle. Picture of the title. All sorts of, any type of document you want to attach to pretty much anything in ParaPlan, you can. So it's a nice new feature that's extremely handy for whatever you want to do. And I also want to talk about driver incidents as well. So let's go back to drivers. That was vehicles. And I'm going to flip over to drivers by typing in drivers at the bottom. And let's load up Daryl again. So in case you did not know, in the driver's main screen, there's two pull downs here. There's one for incidents and one for training, okay? So for an incident, this can be either an accident or an incident with a customer. Okay. Bear with us here.
Sorry, I just switched internet connections and obviously it's not very good.
Okay, I'll sorry about that. I think we're back on. Can you guys hear us again? And can you see the screen? Little internet difficulty there. Okay, great. Let's log back into ParaPlan. So we were talking about drivers and incidents and training. So let's go back to that. I think I was looking at driver Daryl. Okay, and what we had done is we had added an incident. So let's go ahead and with that incident, add a document to it. So with these expander bars for training and incidents, you just hit the little down arrow and there it is, okay? So notice how this driver incident now has a documents tab because you won't see that until you actually apply the changes and save the actual incident. But you hit documents just like all the others, add new, and then add any, pictures, police reports, etc. So I have an accident report. I have a crash diagram. I have all sorts of fun stuff that you can kind of store with ParaPlan and your accidents and incidents for your drivers. Okay. So let's see, what didn't I include here? Accident report, crash report. Okay. So if you want to look at some of these, you can just click the accident report. It will show it to you. This is very handy. Crash diagram. Anything you want. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is mobile. Okay, so as you guys know, ParaPlan Mobile is on iPhone and iPad. I've generated some screenshots on my iPhone for you guys. So let's pull these up. So everybody should see 3 iPhone screenshots. And this is my iPhone, so no judging on my home screen. But With an iPhone, you can do something a little bit different than you can with an iPad. So since the iPhone has a different screen type, you can actually what's called force press on any of your icons and it pops open a menu. So if, for instance, on the left screenshot, I have ParaPlan up there. If you just click it once, it obviously would open the ParaPlan app. But if you press hard, a little menu pops up, and that menu looks like what's shown in the middle, which is what's called our Next Stop widget. And on an iPhone or even the iPad, when you swipe to the right, it brings up your far left screen, which is called the Today screen, and that's where you can add widgets for many of the apps that you have. So some apps do have a widget with it, some don't, and I'll talk about that as well. So essentially, if you were to just press and hold your ParaPlan icon on the iPhone only, you would see this little widget pop up that would tell you what your next stop is, and then the driver could actually perform that without even opening the app. So we've even taken this concept a little bit further with our Siri integration as well. So if you look at this little widget that popped up, you have a couple things you can do, 3 things. You can say arrived at pickup, and then once you press it again, you would see performed pickup. You could hit the map, and ParaPlan would give you driving directions directly to that spot. And then if you did not have the widget in your Today screen, which I'm going to show you, you would see a little button that says Add Widget, which I've kind of got an arrow to on the right. So if you were to hit Add Widget, all that means is you're going to add it to your iPhone or iPad Today screen. So I'm going to scroll down. Okay, you now should see 3 more screenshots. So if you click the Add Widget words that were over here, once you hit Add Widget, you'll see a checkbox, which just means that widget's been added to your lock screen. This is my lock screen, or what's called the Today screen. And I have several widgets from different apps that I have, and it added it to the bottom. So all that means is if you're looking at your iPhone or your iPad and you just swipe to the right, you would see this pop up and automatically. Now, you don't even have to add the widget from a force press on iPhone. You can do it using the edit button. So on an iPad or an iPhone, you can actually swipe swipe right to get to the Today screen, then hit edit. And then iOS will show you all the different possible widgets that you can add to your widget list. And ours is called Next Stop, which is a ParaPlan icon next to it. Okay. So, you can also change the order in which these are arranged. So I have about 7 widgets on my iPhone that I look at often. And let's say I want ParaPlan to be at the top. So you can edit that as well. And if you hit the edit button on the Today screen, you're going to see an edit widget menu like this, to where you can add widgets, remove widgets. If you press and hold it's called a hamburger menu, but the 3 lines, you press and hold that, you can drag up your widgets to change the order. And I dragged up Next Stop up to the top, and now this is what it would look like on my Today screen. Okay, so essentially, a driver doesn't even need to have the app open. They can just swipe over to the Today screen and perform all their actions if you want to do it that way. We've taken this exact workflow and built it into Siri as well. So if you go to ParaPlan and open the app itself and press the icon that's at the top left of ParaPlan, which normally if you're looking at the ParaPlan app, you're going to see at the top an icon that's just our ParaPlan icon. Push that to get to settings. And then there's this Next Stop, which is a brand new feature where you can add it to Siri. So press Add it to Siri. And once you've done that, you don't even have to look at your iPhone or your iPad. You can just say, hey Siri, Next Stop. It just did it on my phone. And it will.
February 30th, 2019, 7:38 a.m. Drop.
And Siri will actually enunciate who your next pickup is and where that's at. It will also then, right after it tells you, it shows you a map. and you can click that map to get driving directions. It's really slick. And I'm going to bounce over to a quick video that Chelsea made talking about it. So let's go ahead and play that. You should be able to hear it.
To use the new Next Stop Siri shortcut for ParaPlan, touch the ParaPlan icon, then touch the Add to Siri button to activate this shortcut. Once enabled, say, "Hey Siri," then provide your desired phrase when prompted. You'll use this phrase in the future to quickly view detailed information about your next stop using Siri. As always, thanks for using ParaPlan.
All right. So that is how you add our Next Stop widget and have the Siri integration with it as well. Now let's talk about driver brakes. So now you're going to see 3 new. Oh, this is the co-pays now. Okay. So let's go down a little bit. Brett's going to talk about co-pays here in a second. I'm going to talk about driver brakes. Okay. So here are 3 ParaPlan iPhone screenshots. There's the icon I was talking about to get to settings. So you just click that to go to the settings for your ParaPlan app. But one of the new features is at the bottom of the driver manifest is start a brake. So this is called driver initiated brakes. And a driver can go ahead and go on brake at the current time, or he can actually set a time to go on brake, he or she. So all you really do is scroll down to the bottom and click start a brake. And then immediately once that happens, you're on brake up here at the top. So there'll be a nice blue bar so the driver knows that they're currently on brake. And I'm going to go ahead and do it on my phone and show it to you what it looks like in ParaPlan. So we're going to come back to this in a second. And let's load up today. So I'm going to go to scheduling, click today. So I'm driving run 2 in vehicle 925. And I'm going to go ahead and on my phone here, just go on brake. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I just clicked it on my phone, and then ParaPlan desktop will update, and there it is. So it says run 2 on brake until 11:46. So when you're looking at your drivers and they do go on brake, you'll be able to see it right here. There's a couple other things I'm going to show you as well, but next I am going to go ahead and edit that brake and talk about the different things you can do with them. So if you want to edit the details of the brake as far as the start time, end time, or what type of brake it is, the driver, just like any other action in ParaPlan Mobile, you swipe left and you're going to see 2 buttons, change details and end brake. If you click change details, you see the following screen. So here's the brake detail screen, and there's 3 things you can edit. The type of brake it is, the start time, and the planned end time. So if you click the info button, you're going to get a menu here at the bottom where you can change the type of brake it is. And like all different menus in ParaPlan, you guys can edit this list as you see fit. So I have lunch, fuel, service, personal, and driver brake in the system. And this one is personal, but I could have changed it. And then also you can change the estimated end time as well. So I'm going to, on my phone, which you can't see, I'm going to show you, I'm going to change my end brake time till 12:30 p.m. and that should update. So I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to edit brake details. I'm going to hit the info on the end time and change that to 12:30 p.m. And there it did, it updated. So it went from 11:46, which was the default. Is it a 30-minute break default?
Yeah, you can set that when you're setting up the brake types.
Okay, so each brake type has its own duration. So let's go to brake types. and it's just in the all elements driver brake types. And here are the 5 that I showed you that you can, whatever you add or remove from this list will show up in mobile. So for personal, it was 30 minutes. So when I clicked go on break, it assumed that my end time was going to be 30 minutes from now, but I went ahead and changed that to longer to end at 12:30. So this is just a default duration, which can be changed for any type of situation. Now, if you have a bunch of drivers and a few of them are on break, there's a way to view those on a screen that updates automatically. And this is called the drivers on break screen, which also leads into what Brett's going to talk about here in a minute about our new screencasts. So if you click drivers on break, it's going to open up a automatically updating web browser that tells you who's on break. So it will tell you the route name, driver name, break started, and break end, and here it is. So if you have multiple drivers on break, it'll just grow down vertically like that. Okay, so you can keep this open at all times to see who's on break and go with that. So, this is driver initiated, and we do plan to have the ability to initiate driver breaks from desktop, and that will be coming soon as well. And I also want to talk real quick about vehicle maintenance before I hand this over to Brett, as we lost a little bit of time, but we're doing pretty good. So another hidden gem in ParaPlan is vehicle maintenance. It's where you can put in all the different service things that you've done to each of your vehicles. It's basically a tracking system to kind of track the amount of money you're spending on each of your vehicles. You can also put in your gas entries if you want. So let's go ahead and scroll down to vehicle maintenance. Okay, so here's vehicle maintenance. I'm going to minimize the today's screen. And I have 2 entries already in there. Let's go ahead and double click one of them to look at it. I'm going to move it to the middle of the screen. And so this is the vehicle maintenance record. You pick the vehicle, pick the date the service happened. This list of what was worked on, you guys can edit as well. So I said battery, description, new battery. The provider list, you guys can edit as well. A lot of you have shops in-house, but you also farm things out, so you can put in wherever these things happened. You can enter the invoice ID and the odometer reading as well. And then we record who put it in and when it was entered. And then you can actually add on parts, labor, miscellaneous expenses, and then here's your fuel entry, cost per gallon in gallons, and then the total. So if it is a fuel entry, you'll just put fuel and then put in the cost per gallon and the gallons and where it occurred. So for this, notice how you don't see the documents tab at the top. That's because this window is a little bit small, but you can always hit this little down arrow on the title menu to get to other things. So let's go ahead and hit documents. And I've already attached a document to it. Looked like it was a receipt from a hotel, but let's add a new one. And let's go to all files. So we're just adding, just like I showed you before, adding documents to clients, drivers, it's all the same. And here's a maintenance invoice. And then let's go ahead and add a maintenance log. Okay, so now we've added I want to delete that. We've added the invoice, which you can look at. So you can attach all these things that you used to store in other locations. You can store them right in ParaPlan. We'll do it for you. And a maintenance log as well. So that's vehicle maintenance. I'm going to turn it over to Brett, who's going to talk about screencasting and some other things. Okay, we just got a question from Emily about generating reports for vehicle maintenance, and yes. So we can send you guys more information on vehicle maintenance reports. And it's basically, you pick your start date, end date, all vehicles or a certain vehicle to get a list of everything that was worked on in that time period. So here's Brett.
All right. Sorry about the internet thing. That was my fault. All right. So last webinar, I didn't quite get to what we call external viewers. And basically kind of like the route drivers on break window that Kyle just showed. These allow you they're kind of automatically updating web pages. And the idea is you might have a big monitor on the wall, and you could cast these up there, and they'll kind of keep track of your fleet, or depending on what the cast is, where everyone can see it. It's a little hard to show on one screen, but it would also work well if you have dual monitors. If you cast it off to your secondary monitor, then it'd be easy to view. So I've got two I've built so far, and I'm going to show one, scheduling availability. Oh, okay. So over here, I have a scheduling canvas open, and right under print manifest, there's this external display. If I click on that, I get to set a refresh rate. And by default, that's 30 seconds. And basically that's saying how often that web page is gonna refresh itself. You don't wanna set that too small because it is hitting the database and pulling all your scheduling data every 30 seconds, or if you set it to 5 seconds, it would put quite a load on your database. But since this is small, I'm gonna go ahead and put it to 15 seconds so I can kind of show you stuff. And this one is, let me resize this a little. Whoop, I made the wrong thing small. One sec. Okay, so basically this is to help with scheduling. You can look through routes, but this just real quickly shows you where you have gaps in your schedule where you'd have available drivers. What it's doing is for each one, like if you see run 1, it's blacked out till noon and then goes till 5 o'clock. And it's basically reading these route times right here. And then it's like got a slot for every 15 minutes. And if there's going to be something on board the vehicle, it you know, blues out that section so you don't schedule something else to it. So let me show, let's see, like, and this, like I said, that automatically refreshes. So say I move this 10:15 or 1:15 up to run 1, watch over here, and it takes about, I have it set to 15 seconds. It will automatically move that over. So if you have this kind of cast up on a second monitor, you can, you know, you don't have to keep launching it and checking it like you would a report. It just kind of updates as you go. It's dynamic, it's called.
Dynamic.
All right. So I don't know why I'm getting that. That is one of them, and that's kind of to help schedule the future. You know, if you're scheduling tomorrow, this would be very useful. You know, just a quick, where do I have gaps in my schedule? And then I'm going to show the driver trip sheets. So this one does quite a bit more. And it is built for a large screen, so I'm going to have to resize all this. Turn my zoom down a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to maximize both of these and I'll switch back and forth. Okay, so basically this one's going to have a bucket for every driver. And if, like, say the driver has an AM route and a PM route, they would still only have one bucket on here, and it'd kind of show the, you know, the start of the earliest route and the end of the last route. So this is actually reading the current time, and I can, since it's 11:43 and driver Diane doesn't come on till noon, she's still there, so you can kind of know she's coming on, but she's off to the, you know, she'll be at the end of the list, and and it's got a red bar up here and tells you the driver hasn't started. So it also changes colors. So you notice a lot of these are red. It's looking at, right now it's 11:44. And so any of these trips that are on here are late. So, in reality, they would have performed all these, but, here we have them, they're all past the pickup time, so they turn red. I'm going to show you.
So this is a good way to kind of see who's running late quickly as well.
Right, and it's, for some of our clients, kind of, I call it live dispatch, where they don't really schedule too far ahead. And as, people become available, they give them the next trip. This can be real helpful in seeing that. So I'm going to, it also changes colors. Like you'll notice Michelle back here. Sorry, like I said, it's hard to go back and forth. I'm gonna try this. Okay, so Michelle's picked up at 10:31. So if I look here, it's turned blue. That tells me they've been picked up. And then I'm gonna go drop her off. And if we come here, this will actually drop off your schedule. So it's kind of like mobile if you have it set to pending only. As you perform things, they drop off, and you just kind of have their future trips. Okay, so that one dropped off. So as the driver's going through the day, I'll do Brett next. I go pick up Brett. Let's see, one on run one. I'm gonna pick up Sharon. And come back here, and it's gonna be showing me that they're picked up. Now, another cool thing it does is it's gonna show you your last stop. So we know at 11:46, I just, did both those. And the address I would have been at to do that was 101 or 100 West Main Street. So it tells you where they were last. And when you're live dispatching and kind of this bucket's empty, that means you're ready to take a new trip. It's nice to know where that last one was. Over here, you see your unassigned trips, and, kind of again along the live dispatch idea, if I put that on a route, it moves over there and they'll come out of here. Okay, so these, would, in reality, if you were kind of live dispatching, you probably wouldn't have much red here. You'd have all your future trips. And then these would be more empty, and you'd be dragging, you see Tim's cleared all his trips. He's open. I can give him the next one out of my unscheduled bin. So, yeah, that is the new one. Let me look through my notes. Okay, yeah, I think I hit everything on that. And these new external viewers, if you guys have any ideas of something similar to this, kind of an automatic refreshing web page, I kind of built these off of what I thought would be useful. And one of them, a client had some input on. It was something they were looking for. But anything else like that, let me know. And we'd like to make more of these that can help schedule and everything like that. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this now. And then one more thing that's new is for you guys who've used mobile and have drivers collect money in the field. The payment types have always been hard coded. I think they were like cash, ticket, and voucher. We've now made that where you can define which ones you want in your list. And then you can set a default on mobile. When you tap it, it fills out your default and the amount. I think Kyle might have I closed it.
It's right there.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, so before, you've always been able to see this in mobile. You bring up the details, you tap it, it would default to cash, and then you could click on this and come in there and change. If it was a different type, you can write in one. Say they only paid for half of the trip for some reason, you can change the amount. So now you're able to set to what you want. Some people might take credit cards, checks, things that we didn't have in that list, you can now define. And you do that by going into copay payment types. And like here, we've added check. I can, if I don't want it to show on mobile, I can uncheck that, but most likely you want that checked. And now I can, that was a request we had from a lot of people to be able to change that list. So we now have the ability to do that. And you can also set your default right here. Say I want it to default to check instead of cash, or, if most people ride with a ticket, I can now change that. And when I first tap it, that would be what would be filled out by default. So in short, you can add your own payment types. You can set what default you want. And yeah.
And that's triggered only on the copay field for each trip.
Yeah.
So if you look at that middle screenshot there, it shows $450. That's the copay. And then $18.02 is going to be billed to the client after the fact. So just note that the payment type options are triggered for copay only, if the driver has to collect some sort of payment.
Right. And I might just show, we have 3 different fields for billing, and sometimes this is confusing for people. If you tap on this, you get to all of them. Client copay is intended to be something either usually that the driver is going to collect from them. So that would be at the time of the ride, or, some people pay ahead of time. Bill to client would be something where that client may ride for a month, and at the end of the month, you're going to invoice them for all of their trips. And then bill to program would be, like a certain contract you have, Title III, you're going to send them a bill at the end of the month for all the different clients and all their different trips that rode under that program. So on this main screen, you see client copay and bill to program. Client copay, since that is what the driver's supposed to collect at the time of the ride, like Kyle was saying, that's what's going to trigger there being a number here, or a dollar amount, and that the driver should pick that up. I do have some reports built on that as well. Let me get rid of that, close that. So one is a kind of a cash box kind of report. Let me think what I call it. Client copay collected. So you can run, this would be run typically on today at the end of the day, and you'd view it as a PDF, and it shows you, which ones, like here's a route, here's one of the runs. So they get done at the end of the day. They had a ride on there that they should have picked up $250. We aren't marking these today, but it would show the $250, and ideally at the end of the day, you want these to match up. And you can, if the driver would forget to do it, you can correct them in the desktop as well, just by coming right here. This is where that data feeds from when they, if they tap that on mobile, it would put the 450 here and put check. So here's where you can see the data corrected if they forget, that kind of stuff. And then the second one, some people have wanted to, just be able to give a receipt. I don't know if I have any data in there to show this. So say Steve wants a receipt of his. Well, since he didn't have a copay collected, I can't give a receipt. Where was that one? Sorry, I probably should have put that together beforehand. 250, let's say he did pay the 250 with cash and he wanted a receipt. Then I could come to this copay collected or receipt and run it, and it would give him, basically a receipt that he paid that. So those are kind of the two built off of that client copay. All right, I'm gonna turn this back over to Kyle to wrap us up. Does anyone have any questions? We have a couple minutes left. I really apologize about the internet thing. I just had them over here and they changed something and it didn't work very well, obviously.
We'll have Chelsea edit that out on the actual video. And yeah, if you guys have any quick questions, let's see what else that I want to talk about. Go ahead and fire them off in the chat window if you want to. I did want to show you guys Chase real quick just to kind of make sure for the mobile users, they know about it. It was just a little note that I had. So if your drivers are using mobile, you can always hit ParaPlan Chase, and that will load up a Google map with live traffic and where that driver is currently located. And if this is probably something maybe not everyone knows, but if you click the actual location of the vehicle, which is stopped right now, you click it, it gives you a breadcrumb history of everywhere that driver has been. So if I zoom out, and we're here in Olathe, and just kind of, you can drill down and kind of see where that driver has been. And if you zoom in even closer, you'll notice that I think we're collecting a GPS data point, speed, location, and time every 30-degree change in direction and every 50 meters or something like that. So there's quite a bit of GPS data that we're collecting. So each one of these is a actual GPS data point. And if you put your mouse over it, you get a little tooltip. You might not be able to see it, but it says 32 miles per hour at 9:32 a.m. So that's something else that I wanted to make sure everybody knew about that's using mobile. ParaPlan Chase. Okay, we got a question. Yes, the session is being recorded, and we will send out a video link to it after this seminar. And is it simple for drivers to view attachments? Okay, attachments, which I talked about earlier, are only available on desktop at this time. So if another little hidden gem as well is if you need to get to a client, oh boy. So what I did there, let me do this again, everybody. So I'm in the scheduling canvas. I want to see this trip. I just double click it, loads up the trip details. If I want to see that client info, I can click this client icon right here from the trip window, and that will load up the client. So there's another little trick. So that was from the trip, click the client icon, loads up the client. But these documents per that question are only available in desktop. So at this time, we don't have document support on mobile, but that is a great idea. So we'll definitely put that in the list. So thank you, Kevin, for that question. And I hope everybody is staying warm in this Arctic blast. But we'll go ahead and conclude this. Thanks everybody for your patience, and thanks for using ParaPlan. Have a great day, guys.